Hey there, third graders. This is Mrs. Smith here. Today we are doing Unit 2, Lesson 6. And we're continuing talking about, our sevens and, our other multiplications. But we're specifically talking about square multiplications, square numbers, and square division. So take a look at this column here, right here. It's called square multiplications. And what do you notice about both of the factors? It's 8 times 8, 64. 10 times 10 is 100. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. 4 times 4 is 16. Do you notice anything? All these square multiplications, both factors are the same, right? And so if you think about what you know about a square, oops, you can't see that. When you see a square, you know that all of the sides are the same length, right? That's something that makes it a square, along with also having all right angles. To find the space inside of a shape, or any rectangle, to find the space inside of any rectangle, you do length times width. If you're doing a square, and you know one side is 3, then you know all the other sides are 3, right? So then to do length times width, it's going to be 3 times 3. 3 times itself, right? Sometimes that's written as 3 with a little tiny 2 up top, which means 3, like 2 3s multiplying by each other. So 3 times 3 equals 3 squared. That's how you say it, 3 squared, or 3 to the second power, sometimes you'll say. If you're using a bigger exponent than 2, you'll say 3 squared. And you can also remember that because you're multiplying 2 dimensions. You want a little sneak peek for something later? I'm sure you do. So if you're talking about the 3-dimensional version of a square, you're talking about a cube, right? Just pretend that's perfectly even and stuff. It's not that good. Whatever, though. So a cube, the thing that makes it a cube is all of the dimensions are the same number. So if you know this side is 3 for a cube, you know this dimension is 3, and you know this depth, this way going back, is 3. And to find the volume, or the space inside of that shape, you would do 3 times 3 times 3, which is 3 multiplied by itself 3 times. So you would put 3 to the third power. 3 times 3 is 9, and then 9 times 3 is 27. So 3 cubed is 27. 3 squared is just 9. These come up quite a bit, and it's kind of fun, I like them. They're some of my favorite multiplication facts. So hopefully you'll keep this in mind. We're going to work on it today, and then it'll be something that'll stick with you for future stuff, especially when we do like geometry and shapes. That'll be really helpful, especially then. Okay, so spend a few minutes studying these, asking yourself, quizzing yourself. Okay, what's 7 times 4? 28. 7 times 2? 14. This is part of your assignment for today. So pause the video, spend that time. When you feel pretty good about it, replay the video, okay? All right. So I'm assuming you've done that by now, and now we're going to explore square numbers. Just like I was saying before, a square number is a number where the dimensions are the same on all the sides. So this is a 1 and a 1, so you do 1 times 1, and that equals 1. This is 1 unit squared, because it's 1 unit this way, 1 unit that way. This right here is 2 units, and this right here is also 2 units. And so in the same way that the numbers multiply by each other, and you can have that little 2, the unit also multiplies by itself, and it gets that little 2. And that little 2 shows everyone this is a 2-dimensional measurement. So that's why we talk about, like with a rug, it's square feet instead of just length feet, because you could be 4 feet tall, but you're not going to have the same amount of space as a an area rug that is 4 feet wide and 4 feet long, right? That'll be 16 feet. 4 times 4 is 16, but you're only 4 feet tall. So then we'll have 2 units multiplied by 2 units, and that equals 4 units with a little 2 up top. U times U is squared, units squared. Here, 3 units, 3 units, 3 units times 3 units equals 9, what? Units squared. And I'm using units as like a placeholder. So sometimes if you're doing a measurement, it'll give you millimeters or centimeters or feet or meters or yards or miles or, you know, like kilometers. It could be any of those units. So we're just using the placeholder U for units. Okay, this is 4 units, 4 units, 4 units times 4 units equals, what's 4 times 4? 16. And what's U times U? U squared. All right, now we're gonna go over here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna do this one up here because I'm kind of running out of space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 units. So we write 5 units multiplied by 5 units. What's 5 times 5? 25. What's U times U? Units squared. All right, count these with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 units. What do we write here? 6 units times 6 units. What's 6 times 6? 36. And what's U times U? Units squared. And you know, as we find each of these answers, it's important to remember that we are finding that same number of actual squares on the inside. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 squares, right? 9 square units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 squares or square units, right? You can count all these, you know, if you want to spend your time counting those. But because we're learning multiplication, you sort of just have to start trusting it, you know? But if you ever want to check, you can always check. All right, count these with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. And then here we have 7 units times 7 units, and it equals, what's 7 times 7? You know this one, you've been practicing your math facts. 49. 7 times 7 is 49, or 7 squared is 49 units squared. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 units. Now I'm going to write 8 units squared, like that, in parentheses to show that the square is for the 8 and for the units. And then I'll put an equal sign. 8 units times 8 units equals, what's 8 times 8? You know, 64 units squared. Okay. This is another way to write that, but you have to have the parentheses to show that the square is for the whole thing, not just for the U. All right, count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 units. Parentheses, 9 units squared, which is a, you know, that equals 9 units times 9 units equals, what's 9 times 9? 81. And what's unit time? You see unit? Unit squared. Last one. One of my favorites. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 units. 10 units squared equals 10 units times 10 units equals, what's 10 times 10? 100 units squared. Okay. And I was counting the squares themselves, but really I was counting this edge. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Counting that length. How many units long is that? All right. Now let's go ahead and take a peek at the back. Look at the products in exercises 1 through 10 in order. Discuss the pattern you see with your class. So, think about it. What do we notice? They're all, the number times itself. Right? The numbers you listed in exercise 11 are called square numbers because they're the area, or because they're the areas of sides or squares with whole numbers, lengths of sides, just like we said. A square number is the product of a whole number and itself. So if n is a whole number, n times n is a square number, and it would be n squared, right? Now, we're going to circle all of these products. So we're going to do a little flipping and back and forth. So it's 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3. So, okay, here's 1 times 1. Here's 2 times 2. Remember, these multiplication tables work with the factors on the outside and then the multiplication answer, the product, on the inside, and you find the factors and you line them up. 3 times 3, whoop. 4 times 4, whoop. 5 times 5. 6 times 6. 7 times 7. 8 times 8. 64. 9 times 9 is 81. And 10 times 10 is 100. Well, what do you know? What do you think about that? Why do you think it's in a diagonal line like that? Because it's where all of these factors are multiplying by themselves, right? So, think about square numbers. Love them. I think they're really fun. I don't know. I think they're great. Practice your math facts. So go back to this sheet. Spend a little more time. Go get a family member to quiz you. Say, quiz me on my 7 divisions. Quiz me on my square divisions. Quiz me on my multiplications. But make sure you say please. You want to be polite, okay? If you have any questions, ask me or your teacher if I'm not your teacher. And I will see you next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.